Tonight, how the Wildcats men's basketball team finished their last 2 home games of the season. An update on how the baseball team is looking, and the hockey team finishes their season on a sour note. Welcome back to the Dorm Room Sports Chat. I'm your host, Annie Marum, alongside our 3 analysts, Derek Fazenden, Brittany McMorris, and Zach Clark. All right, we're going to take you to some highlights here of the basketball games at home. We're going to start with Thursday. The Cats are taking on the USC Trojans. This was a do or die for the Cats, and it didn't start off pretty. The lob here by Garrett Jackson gave the Trojans an early lead. Now we're going to take it to just 50 seconds left in the first half. Here come the Cats. Josiah Turner with the steal and the 2-hand slam. Cats go into the locker room up by 4. Now second half. Kyle Fogg here with a step-back jumper, and it's a pretty one. Cats go up 37-28. Later, B-Lab from where? Where else? From beyond the arc. The Cats now have a 16-point lead over the Trojans. Finally, 2 we haven't seen much. Tree gives a nice little pass to Jordan Mays, and it's good night. Cats win this one 70-54. Kyle Fogg led the way with 16, and Mr. Josiah Turner had a career high of 15. Trojans make a last-second attempt, but this game is over. Cats win by a landslide. Now on to Saturday, where Arizona was hosting the UCLA Bruins in a matchup between speed and size. It was senior day for the 5 seniors, and out of all the games at McHale, get this, Saturday, 5th largest crowd in McHale Center history. Wildcat fans are here. We're going to show some love before we get this game rolling. There he is. Show it. Oh, that's good. All right, Tyler Lamb here had 11 in the game, but none better than this one at the shot clock expires, and you can count it. Now we're down to a minute. Arizona with another turnover. Lazarick Jones comes up with it, sending it to Jeremy Anderson, and the Bruins are only down by 3. Kyle Fogg decides it's his time to shine. Couldn't have come at a better time. He sinks this 3, giving the Cats up by 6. On to the free throw battle. Cats looking a little shaky at the line. Fogg goes twice in the last 30 seconds. He's able to go 1 on each attempt. Last second attempt here by Jeremy Anderson. The step back, he cannot connect, and the Cats escape this one at home with a final score of 65-63. After the game, 5 seniors had the center court to take a bow. We send a big congrats to Jandre, Tree, Perry, B-Lab, and Mr. Foggy himself. All right, Derek, we still saw a sleepy team on Saturday. Kyle Fogg, the senior leader, did not have any mentionable stats until the second half. How will this affect the Cats come tourney time?
Kind of seems like we talk about this every week. That's just been their MO this whole season. They get off to slow starts, and luckily for them, more often than not, they've been able to pull it together in the second half and been able to win most of those games, which is why they're in position to make the tournament. But it's just not going to cut it come tourney time, and I think you look at it, quite frankly, they don't have the talent to compete with most of the teams that they will be playing in the tournament right now. I think right now Joe Lenardi of ESPN.com has us matched with Vanderbilt, in the 11th seed. And quite frankly, that's a better team anyway. So if you're not going to put a full effort in for the full game, don't even show up at all because you're not going to get a W.
I think that you're right about the Wildcats at least starting games slowly, but one thing I'm not concerned with is Kyle Fogg, his ability maybe to come on strong, something that the Wildcats can key in on. I mean, this is a guy, 18 points a game over the course of 2 games this weekend. Pac-12 Player of the Week for the second time this month. Kyle Fogg is not a concern for me.
All right, with the last game of the season being against rival ASU, Brittany, how do the Cats not walk into this game the same way they entered the Utah game?
Honestly, it's like Derek said, we need to start off this game not being sleepy. We need to start off like pour some cold water on yourselves, wake up, be out there from the beginning, play 100% from the start. And that's the only way I think we're going to win.
Yeah, I think the Wildcats, one of their problems is they play to the level of their opponent. And you see that a lot. Utah's a great example. USC, UCLA, they come off sluggish because they're getting sluggish thrown back at them. Look at a game like Washington State at home a couple weeks ago. Wildcats came out playing with fire because they were had thrown back into their face. So I think you'll see the Wildcats play a little sluggishly to begin the game on Sunday against ASU.
You know, I think I may be in the minority on this one, but I think they're gonna come out ready to go. I don't know what more motivation you need. It's ASU, it's your rival. If you win, you sweep your rival. That's always a good sign. And not to mention, you lose this game, you're turning hopes pretty dashed. And look at all the hard work they've done beating USC, beating UCLA, winning, 6 out of their last 7 games to get to this point. I have more faith in Sean Miller. I understand this is kind of going against what I just said on the first question, but I do think they're going to be ready to play for this one. I really do.
All right, speaking of head coach Sean Miller, he said at the beginning of the season that this team needed to be judged as a finished product. Zach, with only 1 game in season play remaining, how would you judge this U of A basketball team?
I'm not sure I'm comfortable at this point making a final judgment. It's going to depend on what they do against Arizona State in the Pac-12 conference tournament, and then if they get to the NCAA tournament, that'll play a factor as well. At this point, I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not upset. I think they've dealt with injury with Jordan Mays and Kevin Parham twice, so I think this team is about where they belong. I'm not sure if they've underachieved or overachieved considering the circumstances.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I think, Zach, you and I kind of talked about that a little bit off the air. And when you look at this team, first of all, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So the finish line's in sight, but it's not there yet. You still got work to do with ASU. Then probably you still have to win a couple games, at least one in the Pac-12 tournament if you really want to solidify yourself as an NCAA tournament team. But, Zach, I completely agree. I just think when you look at this team, just so many ups and downs, a lot of inconsistency, and I don't think it's fair to judge this team because the season's nowhere near over for them yet.
All right, when we come back, the Cats played host to a traditional power on the diamond this past weekend. Find out how they fared when we return.
I'm Derek Williams, your former U of A Wildcat. You're watching UATV. Don't change the channel.
UATV 3 UATV 3 When I turn on the TV, I turn it to channel 3, cause they got all the greatest shows that I've been waiting to see. It's entertaining to me, cause it's pertaining to me and all the other Wildcats in the student body. We're broadcasting live to all the residence halls, so all y'all's in the halls, turn your TVs on to channel 3 for Sheezy, so you can see me and all the other happy people down at UATV 3.
The Arizona Wildcats continued their quest toward Omaha this past weekend as they took on the Auburn Tigers from the SEC. After the Cats took a midweek contest against Utah Valley on Tuesday, Arizona stormed through the weekend, taking the first 2 games from Auburn 8-1 and 15-4, respectively. Unfortunately, Arizona wasn't able to earn the series sweep as it dropped to the Tigers by the final of 8-3. Got some questions here for our analyst, Derek. Arizona once again wins another series, but fails to close the door on a team it had the opportunity to sweep. It's still early, but what do the Wildcats need to do better next time in order to take all 3?
Well, I think it's pretty simple. They need to be more consistent in all phases of the game. Baseball is a sport where if you don't play defense well, you don't pitch well, or you don't hit well, you do one of those things poorly, you're probably not going to win a lot of those games. So I think, and more importantly, you look at the defense this weekend. 9 errors over the weekend, that can't happen. And then you look at the hitting. They're missing that bat in Cole Frenzel from the left side right now. They're not able to hit left-handed pitching. This kid, I forget his name, the freshman from Auburn, that Saturday game that they did lose, he was a lefty, and he just ran through the lineup like it was no big deal. And Coach Lopez stressed that after the game. If you can't hit left-handed pitching, that's going to be a big problem because you're going to run into some major left-handed guys when it comes tournament time. So,
I think one of the things that the 3 of us have talked about, I think, pretty regularly with the Wildcats basketball team is their inability to put together a complete game. And you're kind of seeing that here. Inconsistencies from the bullpen one night, the night's going to be the starting pitching, maybe on Friday it's the bats. So they just have not been able to put together a game where the bats, the bullpen, and the starting pitching plays a complete game from first inning to ninth.
Yeah, and I think going back to that, I think you got to look at the one thing that is kind of different from the basketball team, though. I think this team, don't worry too much because they still have the seniors to kind of get their team through these tough times, I think. So I have a little more faith in these guys than I do the basketball team.
All right, Brittany, through 2 starts each, Kurt Heyer and Connor Wade have a combined ERA of 1.28. Are you impressed?
I'm impressed personally by Connor Wade. He had 10 strikeouts on the first game versus Auburn. And I mean, what more can you ask from a freshman? You know, I don't know what you guys believe, but I think that's a job well done. Like, pat the kid on the back, you know?
Well, yeah, Connor Wade has hit double-digit strikeouts in his first 2 games as a starting pitcher at Arizona. I mean, I'm impressed. It's easy from here. 23 strikeouts, his ERA of less than 1.5. What's not to like?
Yeah, I mean, very impressive stats. I'm not going to say I'm overly impressed. We've seen these guys do it. Kurt Heyer's been doing it for 2 years now, going on his 3rd. Wade came on strong. He looked great in the Cape Cod League over the summer. So I think these guys, to be honest, are just doing the job they're supposed to do. Now, let's see if they can do it against big-time pitching when they get to conference play. If they do that, yeah, I'm going to be impressed. But for now, good stuff. Just not too surprised, though. Not too surprised.
All right, we've got some tough critics in the house. Zach, the Wildcats committed 9 errors over the weekend. Is this a cause for concern?
It depends on how you look at it. Is it something you want to see? No. 9 errors, it's a high number for a team with veteran leadership on defense. But you look where the errors are coming from. You look at guys like Seth Mejia, Alex Breen, Alex Mejia. These are guys that are veterans, are going to step it up. You look at guys like Trent Gilbert at second base, very, very sharp as a freshman. So I think these are things that will balance themselves out as we go forward. Again, Derek said it, Brittany said it. It's early. I'm not concerned.
I think it's just something they have to iron out, to be honest. You know, as the season goes on, they'll pick it up.
And plus, it's a new ballpark. Again, these kids are they're playing at home, but it's a place they're still not completely familiar with. So, I mean, I'd give it some time.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I know I've been kind of hard on the team, but they're 5-2. They're winning games. They're going to be fine. I mean, going back to the last coach, I don't mean to criticize Heyer and Wade. We know how talented these guys are. This is a very, very good team, and of course they're going to get it together. It's, 7 games in.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
All right, well, the Arizona Wildcats will get back at it this weekend when the Cats welcome in Harvard for a 3-game set. Series will start Friday at 6 p.m. All right, guys, lace up your skates because the DRSC is hitting the ice when we come back.
The left-hand lead is enough of a dog. I may have fleas, but I run a yard. I see those clones looking down on me, but unlike those clones, this dog is free. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life, dog's life. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life.
Make no mistake, I don't do anything for free. I keep my enemies closer than my mirror ever gets to me. And if you think that there is shelter in this attitude, where do you feel the warmth of my gratitude? I get the feeling that it's 2 against 1. I'm already fighting me, so what's another one?
The Arizona Wildcats men's hockey team wrapped up their 2011-2012 campaign with a pair of weekend games against 4th-ranked Arizona State. The Wildcats got on the board early both Friday and Saturday night, but could not hang against the Sun Devils. The Cats outshot the Devils 32-29 on Friday, but fell 2-1. Arizona mounted a 3-1 lead in the first period Saturday, but Arizona State rallied back, netting 4 straight goals in a 5-3 Sun Devil victory. All right, Derek, first question's going to be for you. Wildcats blew a 1-goal lead Friday and a two-goal lead Saturday. Derek, what does the inability to hold a lead say about this team?
It says they're young. I think that's really all it says, and which they were. And this is their first year being affiliated with the more affiliated with the U of A, being a recognized club, and I think they're only going to get better within time. I think we talked about this at the beginning of the year. I don't think with a year like this, you can't really judge wins and losses as growth. I think you're going to see a lot of moral victories this season. I think, to be honest, we've seen that. The fact that they were able to get leads against ASU, pretty big ones, 3-1, I think, at one point in one of these games, that's a pretty monumental lead. And I think they just have to work on closing games out in the future.
Well, one of the things people have to consider is that Arizona State is one of the best collegiate hockey teams in the ACHA, number 4 in the country, another top seed in the tournament, second year in a row. So it's not like Arizona is losing, blowing leads against inferior opponents. These are top-notch, high-caliber opponents, and so it's tough to judge them overly critically because of that.
I totally agree with you, but I do think the 3-1 lead is the most dangerous lead you can have.
Yeah, a 2-goal lead in hockey is the most dangerous lead there is. There's no doubt.
You get too comfortable with 2 goals, and then by the time you're too comfortable, score.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
That's a really good point, because I think when you look at 2 goals, it's not like you're blowing them out. So, where even if you do have a lapse, you have time to recover. Like, they score 1 goal, they're right back in it. So, good point, Brittany. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, the Sun Devils bested the Wildcats in all 8 meetings between the teams this year. Brittany, this is a new program on the rise. How important is it for them to get over this hump, and start to even the field against the Sun Devils?
You know what? I think it's extremely important, but for these guys, you could go the whole season and lose, and as long as you beat ASU, you will have the respect from the fans and the students of the U of A. I mean, it's our rival. Look at football. We didn't do that hot this season, but everybody remembers we beat ASU. Last season, the season before that in football, we lost to ASU, and it was like the biggest dump on our season, I guess I would say.
Nobody talks about losing in the bowl game 2 years ago. Everybody talks about losing to Arizona State at the last second. That's all anybody cares about. Yeah. They don't care about the games that come in between, before, or after games against Arizona State. The focus is squarely on Arizona State, any sport, all season long. I mean, is it the most important game for the growth of your season every time? No. But for your fan base, it's hugely important. You got to win those games, at least some of them.
And let's be honest, not everybody's as into hockey as other people.
But they're into beating Arizona State.
And that's when you see the largest crowds down at the TCC whenever they play ASU. And not to mention, ASU is pretty darn good, like you said. So, of course it's important. Of course.
All right, Zach. Well, the Wildcats finished 4 games under 500, but defeated 3 top 5 teams on the road. What's your overall evaluation of the Wildcats' inaugural season?
When I look back at the Wildcats' 2011-2012 season, I see progress. I see a team that was willing to take more risks, play higher caliber opponents not only at home, but also on the road. And if you look, their schedule reflects that. Were they 4 games under 500? Yes. But they lost to a lot of really good teams. 13 wins, including 3 against top 5 opponents on the road. That's very difficult to do in any sport. I don't care if it's basketball, football, baseball, hockey. I see progress, and I see a bright future. There are some disappointing moments you can take away from this, but for the most part, it was a positive season and a move in the right direction.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, wow, Zach just.
I mean, no,
I spent a lot of time with this hockey team this season.
No,
so
and I completely agree, and I think it's kind of it's really honestly unfair for me to judge their progress based on what I said before. I think they have to. It doesn't matter what we think. It only matters what goes on in that locker room. And the stats, you can't just look at a box score to define a season. Like Zach said, I think you'd much rather go out, give it your all, go play some teams, which they did, and lose than say, hey, we finished 30-0, but we played like the 3rd graders from like
down the road,
Tucson Elementary. They went out there and they gave it their all, and they played guys, and that's how you get better, guys. You have to go out and you have to play people and you have to compete, and I think that's gonna look at 5 years from now. I think that's why you're gonna see this program be successful.
All right. Well, when we come back, our analysts are going to play a little game of over under. Don't move. It's that time again. Our analysts are going to get to have a little fun. This week, we're playing over under. All right, first question. Over, under, 2 wins in the Pac-12 tournament for Arizona. Derek, take it away.
Oh, man. I'm going to go under. I do think they're going to make the tournament. As it's shaping up right now, they're going to have to play Washington possibly in that second game if they get by Colorado, Utah, UCLA, whoever they face in the first game. And I said last week that they wouldn't be Washington this season, so I got to go with it. Got to stick to my guns here.
All right, I realized that I agreed with you last week, but I think I was a little too hard on Arizona, so I'm going to say over.
Okay.
Stopping up.
Okay.
That's right.
All right,
Have
boys.
a backbone.
They have a bye week. They have time to rest. I think they'll come back recuperated and ready to go, so I'm going over.
Yeah, I think Brittany brings up a good point there. Everybody else in the tournament will play 2 games this weekend to end their conference schedule. The Wildcats will only play once on Sunday. I'm going to go over anyway. If you look now, Arizona will play either, I believe it is either Utah or Colorado in the first round, or after their bye, and then after that it'll be California. Games that I think the Wildcats win. I'm going over.
We just spent the whole time talking about how this team's not ready to play, and you guys think they're going to be ready to play?
I think we talk about look at how weak the conference is. You can't tell me that anything would surprise you.
No, like we talked about.
3 wins
they
or
could
no
either
wins.
win the Pac-12 tournament or they could lose their first game. I wouldn't be surprised by either. I'll say that.
All right, yep, I'm with them on this one. You got Colorado just beat Cal.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Cal's supposed to be number 1, so
true.
I think it's all up in the air. All right, number 2, over, under, 40 wins for the baseball team, including postseason. Zach, start this one off.
All right, I'm going over. I think the Wildcats, 40 wins. I think they'll get to the postseason. I think they'll get to Omaha. So I'm going to go over, and I'm going to go well over. I think by at least 5 games. 45 wins, I think, is legitimate for this team this year.
I agree with you, too. I think this team has a lot of potential. I don't see, any problems with winning over 40 games, so why not?
39 a year ago.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go over as well. I think this team has more than potential. They've proven they can do it. They've proven they've done it before. They're going to Omaha. Absolutely. I think they're going to be.
Can I go with you?
Yeah. Let's go. Bust it up there.
Nebraska bound, baby.
All right, next one. 2 Pac-12 teams qualifying for the NCAA tournament. Over, under. What do you guys think?
Brittany, start us off. You haven't got to go first yet.
Oh, gosh, I know I jinx everybody. But I should say under, but I'm going to say over, and I really hope this isn't jinxing, so I'm sorry if it does.
So because Brittany said over, I'm going to say under because she is, of course. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm going to go under as well. Right now, the Wildcats are in, according to Jordan Lenardi, as are Cal and Washington. But, we'll see what happens in the Pac-12 tournament. It'll go a long way to shaping the way the NCAA shakes out, especially if a team like USC or Arizona State wins a tournament. I mean, all bets are off at that point.
Yeah.
This one's tricky. This one's the hardest one.
I don't know. I'm going to push. I'm saying
I'm
saying two.
Oh, and I'm the one that always gets yelled at for that.
I'm saying this could be the year. Big Joe at ESPN. He's usually right on these, but I just really don't. Pac-12 getting 3 bids, that's a joke.
It's a weak conference. There's no question.
I say Arizona gets in. I say Washington misses it, though.
Ooh.
What? No, I don't agree with
It was
you.
like Arizona State.
Them to have.
It's like Arizona State from 3 years ago. They beat Arizona 3 times, and then Arizona got in, and Arizona State didn't. So it's happened. It's happened.
I'm just saying Washington's beatable, not by Arizona, but they beatable.
All right, well, if that wasn't enough, it's time for the final word. Each one of these analysts will have 30 seconds to discuss their topic of choosing. I'm going to toss it up to Derek. Your 30 seconds starts now.
All right, so I'm going to do a little PR moment here. Similar to the hockey team, the rugby club is a pretty established club here on this program. They kick off their league season this week against Air Force. So this is a team, if you haven't watched rugby, I didn't know much about it before I got into it this year. It's actually a really fun sport to watch, and they're pretty good. So go out and support them. And the Cal rugby program hasn't lost in over 3 years, and they just lost last weekend. So that's pretty historic in the rugby world. So go out and support the Cats. Let's go.
That's right. And they're coached by legendary coach Dave Sitton,
Dave
too.
Sitton, who's running for Congress. He's doing it all. He is doing, see?
Yeah,
he's
you
doing
haven't
it all.
seen the signs.
His signs are everywhere,
They're
yeah.
everywhere.
Yep.
All right, Brittany, your 30 seconds starts now.
All right, I'm going to have to go with myself jinxing the U of A. Last week, I was so hard on U of A, and of course, they came out on top, especially our basketball team. I'm sorry, guys. from now on, I think I should just say the opposite of what I want to happen. I said they were going to lose, and they win. So I think I'm just.
Maybe it was the tough love that helped them out. Maybe they needed that from you.
Maybe, I don't know.
Hey, just try being right like Zach and I.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, your 30 seconds is going to start now.
All right, everybody, brace yourself. Are you ready for a positive NBA 30 seconds? I don't know.
What?
It's happening. My 30 seconds, shout out to United States Secretary of Education, Arnie Duncan.
Oh my God.
He had 17 points to lead all scorers in the NBA celebrity game. He's the current Secretary of Education, so he's in the President's Cabinet, played ball at Harvard, 4 years of pro ball in Australia. The gray-haired man dropping bombs on everybody at All-Star Weekend. I was very impressed, so my shout-out goes to him.
You know what? He had some moves. But how
behind the head
how did
pass?
Kevin Hart get MVP then?
Because it was a fan vote. That's why it was so bad.
Geez.
The MVP should have gone to Arnie Duncan. He was my MVP.
The fans are so dumb, including me.
Yeah. You. How many times did you vote for Kevin Hart, Derek?
I love Kevin. He's my favorite comedian. At least 10.
There it is.
Over
there
under
it
10,
is.
right?
Good Lord. Over.
Way over.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Dorm Room Sports Chat. I'm your host, Annie Marum, and for Derek, Brittany, and Zach, we're going to say goodnight. We're going to leave you with some of the highlights from the NBA dunk contest that featured Derek Williams and Chase Budinger. Hope you enjoy them.
Chase Budinger. Ladies and gentlemen, your two.
And Paul George. Over the legs here. Perfectly. First of all, great toss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, jump! Well, I like the history of it. I like going back. What's the difference from Diddy and all that? What is this going on?
Diddy's.
Oh! Now, is it more impressive? 19. That was more than the Paul George over Dante Jones.
And he didn't do it. He couldn't finish it.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa. Oh. Fans, you can also, in addition.
That's nice. I'm telling you, that's a tough dunk here.
Just tell you what, I mean, knocking on the door.
Champion.